For the most part, I'd say I'm a pretty positive person. I might even say that I'm a glass half full kind of girl. I think we can all agree that being as positive as possible in life is a good thing. However, I'd argue that being too positive is a bad thing. Without a little bit of negativity, there's no balance. If we're 100% positive about everything all the time, we're lying. We're living in a lie. Because some stuff is negative. Some stuff is annoying. Some stuff does suck. So today, I'm going to be tapping in to my negative energy and sharing with you some of my current pet peeves. Apparently, I've been really positive over the last few years because I haven't made an episode about my pet peeves in almost 2 years. I'm long overdue to discuss some of my pet peeves. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This will be my 4th pet peeves episode. So if you want to check out my other 3, go check those out. And let's dig right in. Okay, number 1, when people start acting up to get others' attention. Listen, before I go any further, I must say that I used to do this. When I was in middle school, or even probably in high school, unfortunately, it's a little too recent for me to accept about myself. But if there was like a group of cute boys around and I was with my friends, I would start acting up, getting loud, laughing really loud, talking really loud, dancing, just like making a scene to try to get attention from the boys. Now, in my opinion, when you're a teenager, ages 11, 12, 13, or even a teenager, it's somewhat forgivable to behave in such a way because it is an immature thing to do. Being a young person means doing immature things. I'd say it's forgivable. But when you start becoming a young adult, you enter your 20s, maybe even you enter your 30s, it's not cute anymore. You can't get away with it anymore. It's goofy. Recently, I was at the beach and I was people watching because that's one of my favorite things to do when I'm at the beach. And I was watching this group of college-aged kids, probably around my age. And I was watching all of these different groups of kids acting up to get each other's attention. And I want to say it's charming. I want to say it's cute, but I unfortunately can't. It is annoying to me. Not only is it annoying because there's something sort of cringe about it, like you know what's going on in the inner workings of their brain, and there's something about that that's cringe. Because anytime people are trying too hard in any capacity, it's sort of cringe. But it's also a pet peeve because it's inconsiderate of other people. Like, I was trying to relax and read on the beach, and now all of a sudden, various groups of kids are screaming and squealing. These are not even kids. These are adults. These are people my age, are screaming and squealing and chuckling and shrieking with their friends, trying to get the attention of other groups of kids of the same age. And there's just something about it. It's inconsiderate of people who are in the general vicinity, So it goes beyond being cringe because I feel like once you become an adult, you're expected to be considerate of people around you. I am empathetic to an extent because I did do this when I was a middle schooler and a high schooler, but it's not something that I do anymore. I've grown out of it, and I think I'm expecting other people to grow out of it as well. So unfortunately, it is a pet peeve. Number 2, when you're at the park or beach or any communal place, and someone whips out a speaker and starts playing some bullshit music, okay? It's one thing if they pull out a speaker and start playing some really subtle jazz or some really peaceful classical music. But it's another thing when they whip out 2010 pop songs. When I'm relaxing at the park, I do not want to hear Disturbia by Rihanna. I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't. That's not the vibe I'm cultivating. Is that a phenomenal song? Yes, that is a phenomenal song. I agree. It is a good song. I'd argue 95% of humans on this planet enjoy that song. I don't want to hear it when I'm at the park. I don't want to hear it when I'm relaxing on the beach. I don't want to hear it when I'm sitting outside at a cafe. I just don't. And that kind of goes hand in hand with my last pet peeve. It's like, we must be considerate of others and what type of vibe others are trying to cultivate. We can enjoy music. We can enjoy laughing and talking and giggling, but at a reasonable volume. Simple as that. If the volume of what you're doing in a public place is projecting out in entering other people's spaces, you maybe need to think twice about it. Number 3, when people think it's funny to jump scare. For example, if I have a friend over and I'm maybe doing something in the kitchen, like I'm putting dirty dishes in the dishwasher, and my friend is floating around my house doing whatever. And then when I'm done loading the dishwasher, I start looking around for them. Hey, where'd you go? Hey, where'd you go? And then abruptly, while I'm searching, they jump out and scare me. Fuck that. I fucking hate that. That really pisses me off. It's not funny. Again, it's kind of immature. Like, when you're a kid and you're playing around with your friends and you get jump scared, it's common practice, right? It's what you do when you're a kid. It makes sense. Being a kid is just playing games constantly. I have grown out of enjoying that game. That is not funny to me anymore. That is not fun to me anymore. I don't like that feeling. I don't like the feeling of adrenaline and fear. And I always scream. And maybe that's why people like to jump scare me, is that I always scream and get really startled because I have really bad anxiety. So like, I just get 5 times more startled by being jump scared. Maybe that's why people do it to me. That's what makes it even worse. Okay. I would love to believe that I'm an adult now and I don't have to deal with that anymore. Unfortunately, I can't believe that because adults jump scare too. But I think it is so stupid and so not funny and so annoying. Like, it really fucking bothers me. It makes me so mad. Like, I'm already paranoid enough. I'm already expecting like a home intruder at any given moment. My heart rate is already higher than it needs to be just because I'm an anxious person. I don't need somebody jump scaring me. It's so stupid. Like, if you're going to pull a prank on me, do something smarter. It's lazy. It's a lazy prank. It's stupid. Number 4, when people are telling you a story and start casually dropping names, but they know that you don't know who they're talking about. Okay, for example, let's say I were to be talking to somebody that I'm not really close to, like someone who I see around every once in a while. They're sort of a friend, but they don't know the names of my family members or the names of my closest friends or the names of my coworkers. Let's say I proceed to tell them a story and say, well, yeah, so I showed up to work and then Susan was like, okay, where's the coffee and donuts? I thought you were bringing in the coffee and donuts today. And then Anthony was like, no, she never said she was. Do you see what I'm saying? Horrible example. But in no world could I know who those people are. Within the context of the conversation and the person that I'm talking to, there's no way I could know that niche character in that person's life. And yet they're dropping the names left and right as though I know them. That will even happen sometimes with people that I just met. Sometimes I think people do this on accident because they're telling a story that they want to hear. And they get so wrapped up that they forget that there's also somebody else perceiving the story. And so that's a pet peeve. Number 5, when you get invited to a dinner and then you show up and realize nobody's really eating. I feel like this will happen sometimes. Like, a big group of friends will be like, yeah, let's all go out for dinner. And then somehow it's been decided without you personally knowing that everyone's just going to be snacking and maybe having a drink. Or maybe you get invited to a big dinner party or an event of some sort and it's framed as a dinner. But when you show up, everyone's really just kind of having drinks and food is available, but nobody's really eating. Or maybe you go out to dinner with a friend and you show up and they're like, oh, I already ate dinner like 2 hours ago. I'm actually not hungry. This is a huge bummer to me because if I'm going to some sort of dinner party or I'm going out to dinner at a restaurant, I like to make the most of the experience because I really, really enjoy dining outside of the home. So I will plan accordingly and I will not eat before so that I can really enjoy as much food as possible. And if I show up to an event expecting dinner and then dinner's not really happening, I'm now either forced to eat awkwardly in a setting where no one else is really eating, like order a full meal, or I'm forced to be hungry and eat later. This is just a real bummer to me. If something's not dinner, don't fucking frame it as dinner because there's planning that goes into this shit, okay? Number 6, stud earrings. Okay, I like how stud earrings look. Don't get me wrong, they can be very cute. This is not about the aesthetic of a stud earring. This is about the discomfort of a stud earring. Majority of stud earrings have a sharp post that goes through your piercing hole, and then a sort of clasp that you push through the post on the back. Now, my issue is that this pokey post is so fucking uncomfortable when you try to sleep. Unless you're somebody who only ever sleeps on your back, you know what I'm talking about. Trying to sleep in a pokey stud earring is one of the most horrific experiences a human can experience. That is a huge exaggeration, but it is so frustrating. I like to keep my jewelry in for a week, 2 weeks at a time. And I don't like taking jewelry off for sleeping or for showering and then putting it back on. So the frustrating thing about a stud earring is that I can't wear a stud earring for multiple weeks, multiple months straight because they're so uncomfortable to sleep in that I inevitably have to take them out. And that just ruins my jewelry flow. And I end up just not even wanting to wear the jewelry because it's so uncomfortable to sleep in. I just can't do it. Now, luckily, there are a few jewelry brands who make earrings that are flat on the back. And the invention of flat back earrings is honestly life-changing. And now I only wear flat back earrings. However, they're really challenging to get in and out of the ear, I will say. Like, they're so much more comfortable, but they're so much harder to change. I wish that there was a middle ground. Number 7, brand new sneakers. I really just hate how sneakers look when they're new. I want my sneakers to look 5 years worn in. And the problem is, whenever I get a new pair of sneakers, I hate how they look new so much that I'm like, I don't really want to wear them yet. I don't really want to wear them yet. And then I end up wearing them less because they look so new and fresh and I don't like that look. And it just ends up taking months and months, sometimes even years to wear in a pair of shoes because I hate how they look so much when they're new. Which is why I have been known to buy sneakers that are pre-worn in. I'm not kidding. And the irony is shoes that are pre-worn in tend to be more expensive. Like I have these sort of Converse-esque looking sneakers that I bought pre-worn in for probably double the price of Converse. It's stupid. It's totally stupid. But I wore those immediately because they already looked worn in. They already had scuffs on them. They had scuffs on them. Like the brand fake scuffed them up. It's ridiculous, but I get it because I don't like how a new sneaker looks. I don't like how it feels either. A new sneaker is so stiff. Like I like when they start to mold to your foot and stuff. I just don't like brand new sneakers. Next pet peeve, belts. Okay, there are many times when you slap on a belt and you don't even think twice about it. But every once in a while, belts can be a source of pet peeves. For example, it's really hard to find the right belt size, especially when you're someone who thrifts. Okay, I thrift and buy vintage majority of the time. I would say 90% of my belts are vintage. And it's really challenging to find the right belt size when it doesn't have a size attached to it. And like you can kind of size it out, but then a lot of times you'll find a really cute belt and it's too big or it's too small. And some belts fit for low-waisted jeans. Some belts fit for high-waisted jeans. Some belts almost fit perfect, but you're in between a belt loop. Like one belt loop is too tight, but then the belt loop next to it is a little bit too loose. Belts can be tough when it comes to sizing. I actually bought a belt hole puncher so that I could take my vintage belts that are too big and punch new holes in them so that they'd fit better. If a belt's too small, there's nothing you can do. But if a belt's too big, a lot of times you can punch new holes in it. And I do that all the time. But it's still a pet peeve, like getting the belt size perfect. It's hit or miss. Another belt-related pet peeve is when you have a pair of pants that you really want to wear a belt with, but then there's no belt loops. I have like some cute little dress pants that would absolutely thrive with the addition of a belt, but will never get to experience the belt because there's just no belt loops. I kind of think everything should have a belt loop, but I don't know, because like they're such a great accessory. They're such a helpful accessory. It's such a shame when something has no belt loops. And I understand from a design perspective that sometimes it looks better to not have belt loops on something. But there have been so many times when I've been looking at my outfit in the mirror like, what could this use? And then I've thought to myself, a belt. Then the pants have no belt loops or the skirt has no belt loops. And it's sort of become a trend to put belts over clothes with no belt loops. That's also sort of a pet peeve for me because a lot of times the belt's moving around, the belt can look wrong. Sometimes when it's placed on the wrong part of the body, like if you're wearing like a plain little mini skirt and you want to put a big statement belt over it, depending on the shape of the belt, sometimes the belt cannot lay flat because you're trying to wear a belt lower on your waist where it's less flat because there's your butt there. And it can kind of make the belt ripple or have gaps in like awkward places and it just looks incorrect. Next, number 9, clothes that are see-through when they aren't supposed to be. I can't tell you how many times I've bought like a white pair of dress pants or a white skirt or a sweater, like a cute sweater, and have struggled to style it or to wear it because it's been see-through. If something is not supposed to be see-through, it should not be see-through. Like white dress pants, for example, those are not supposed to be see-through. They should be lined or something to make them wearable. Like there are times when clothes are actually unwearable in any capacity because they're so see-through. If you can see any type of underwear under the dress pants, even nude, which sometimes happens, that is not a functional garment. That should not be sold. That's a scam. Clothes are supposed to cover the body. So if it's see-through and you can see your underwear and you can see like your butt crack, like what the fuck is happening? There are times when this is intentional, like we wear sheer clothing, we wear mesh clothing. I mean, I understand there's an art to that as well. But there are times when it is clear that clothing is not supposed to be see-through and it is, and that is when it's a pet peeve. And it happens more than it should. Next, number 10, leaving the house in a mediocre, half-baked outfit because you're late. When you catch yourself midway through picking out an outfit, like you're not there yet. It's not clicking yet. But you know that if you gave it another 15 minutes and you played around for another 15 minutes, you'd really have a strong look going. But then you look at your watch and you got to go. Like you're already a little bit late. And so then you have to leave wearing what you're wearing and you're not confident in it and you don't feel good in it. And it's just not the right outfit. You know that you could have done better. You know that if you would have just given yourself 15 more minutes that you really could have had a strong look. But now you're forced to leave the house in something that you don't really like. What a bummer that is. And that happens to me all the time because it takes me a long time to pick out an outfit, to be honest. There's a lot of trial and error that goes into every outfit I wear, whether it's going to the grocery store or going to a wedding. Like it doesn't matter. I like to play around and I like to take my time. Sometimes that's 10 minutes. Sometimes that's an hour. It's just so heartbreaking to leave the house in something that you don't quite feel good in. Because then when you're out and about, you don't feel as confident and you don't feel as focused and present in the moment. You're thinking about how your outfit just feels off. I fucking hate that. That happened to me yesterday. To literally go to the grocery store. And I was like, oh, but I kind of want to wear something sort of cute. I was like playing around with what bag I was going to wear. And he was like, I'm going to the grocery store. I don't know why I'm like that. I actually made an episode a while ago about sort of the pros and cons of dressing in a uniform. And this pet peeve is one of the reasons why I want to dress in a uniform. I think one day I will, but I don't think it's the right time yet. I'm still too excited by fashion to not wear something different every day. I don't know. If I had a uniform, I'd always feel solid because the uniform is perfectly created for satisfaction. Next, number 11. When I order a matcha latte and it isn't bright green. Okay, let me explain something to you about matcha if you're not into matcha. There's 2 types of matcha, ceremonial grade and culinary grade. Ceremonial grade is the highest quality of matcha, ideal for drinking, having in a matcha latte or whatever. And then there's culinary grade, which is better for using in large quantities for cooking and stuff. Now, ceremonial grade matcha is really, really bright green. Culinary grade matcha is more of a light grayish, brownish green. Okay. I would say for the most part, it's standard for cafes to serve ceremonial grade matcha, this high quality drinking matcha. It tastes better, it looks better, and it's just sort of the standard for the most part. I would say majority of cafes use high quality ceremonial grade matcha and charge as such, right? Like you're getting a high quality beverage. My pet peeve is when I order a matcha from somewhere and it's clearly low quality matcha. It's kind of gray. It's not bright green. Now, I know you might be thinking, Emma, you're a snob. No, I'm not. Because if I order a matcha and spend like $4 on it, sometimes even $5 on it, I expect it to be high quality matcha, you know? Like you get what you pay for. But sometimes certain cafes will not use the highest quality matcha and you can see it. And it ruins the whole experience because number one, the flavor is not as good. Number two, the color is not as satisfying. Like probably a quarter of the reason why I like drinking matcha is because of the beautiful green color. And so if that green color is not there, what the hell are we doing? Anyway, pet peeve. That's really pretentious. So hope you enjoyed that one. Number 12. Oh my God, is there a fucking leaf blower? That is insane. Oh my God, there's literally a leaf blower. I don't know if you can hear it. One of my pet peeves was literally a leaf blower always managing to start at the worst times. Like when I'm reading peacefully outside and then my neighbor's like gardener comes and starts leaf blowing, or when I'm about to record a podcast. A leaf blower always manages to start at the worst fucking times. And I swear to God, my neighbor's gardener is leaf blowing again. I don't know why. I don't know how it's possible that my neighbors leaf blow probably 4 times a week. Why? You can leaf blow just once a week. So this is my next pet peeve. I did not think that this was going to be the next one. But in honor of the leaf blower starting, that I'm ultimately going to ignore because I'm already in the middle of recording this. I'm not stopping. I'm really frightened. I'm frightened that you can hear it. I'm frightened that it's a terrible sound. But you know what? We're just going to have to deal with it, okay? If I decide to go read outside or something, especially because it's summer, and I like to just sit outside for a bit and read or work on my computer or something, it's always 5 minutes into that the leaf blower starts. Whenever I'm feeling all jazzed up to record a podcast, I'm really excited. I have a great idea. I'm super stoked. Leaf blower starts. Okay, next, number 13. The terribly short window that fresh produce is ripe. Okay, it depends on the produce. Like something like Brussels sprouts or carrots or apples tend to last longer, like multiple weeks in the fridge, even like potatoes, things like that. Things that are harder, but things like berries, plums, nectarines, I don't know, cucumbers, more fragile produce has an insanely short window of being ripe before it goes rotten. My favorite seasonal fruits of summer are plums and nectarines and peaches. And literally, I buy them and they're a little bit firm. And then one day later, they're mushy and they're rotten. The timing of it all is a fucking nightmare. And the worst is when I can see that some fruit in my fruit bowl is perfectly ripe, but I'm not in the mood for fruit or I'm full. Like I already ate lunch and then I realize, oh, wait, there's a perfectly ripe nectarine or plum in my fruit bowl. Oh, I should probably eat it, but I don't even want it. Or like maybe I have a recipe that includes cucumbers. So I use half of a little bag of cucumbers and then I have a few more and I know that they're about to go soon, but I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to eat with what else do I do with these cucumbers? And I can see that they're going bad and time's running out. And I end up throwing stuff away sometimes and it's so sad. Okay, next I have some pet peeves when it comes to salads. So number 14 is just salads in general. I actually love salads. However, I have a lot of pet peeves relating to salads. 2 that come to mind are number 1, when a salad doesn't come with enough dressing. I want every single thing in my salad, every single ingredient in my salad to be fully coated in a rational level of dressing. I don't want my salad drowning in dressing by any means. That's gross and that's soggy. But I don't want to see any dry parts of my salad after it's properly mixed. And I can't tell you how often I'll order a salad or something, particularly one to go, and I'll open it up, pour the dressing on, mix it up, and realize that was not enough dressing and this is a dry salad. It happens more often than not. And it's just such a shame because it doesn't taste as good. You don't benefit from the flavor of the dressing if it's barely covering all of the ingredients in the salad. So I tend to order extra dressing just to avoid this debacle. It's usually better to have too much than not enough. However, a lot of times when you order extra dressing, it's forgotten. That happens to me all the time as well. At least when you're at a restaurant, you can be like, hey, can you bring an extra little side of dressing? Or it's pre-mixed by the restaurant. So, they've perfected the amount of dressing and it's not your problem. But wow, I really, really don't like a dry salad and I need dressing. My other salad pet peeve is when you order a salad from like maybe a nicer restaurant. I feel like this tends to happen at nicer restaurants. Ironically, the salad comes out and it's not cut. This is a popular thing at nice restaurants, which makes no sense to me because I'm like, at a nice restaurant, in theory, you should be paying for the easiest eating experience possible, right? You're paying a premium, so you want to experience a premium. So when you order like a Caesar salad and it's a wedge of romaine lettuce with dressing drizzled on top and a big knife on the side, it's like, why? Now I have to cut up the salad myself and mix the dressing in. What? I absolutely fucking hate that. It feels like a ripoff to me. I'm like, this is lazy. Like, this feels lazy to me. If I'm ordering a salad that costs more than $8, I want that thing to be easy to eat. I want everything to be mixed. If I wanted to make a salad myself, I would have fucking made one at home. So cut up the fucking salad for me. I'm serious. I honestly, I hope that restaurants hear this. If you own a restaurant and you don't have a pre-cut up salad and you're sending it out full wedge and all, I beg of you, for fuck's sake, bring that thing back to the kitchen and chop it up. For the love of God, please. Number 15, when you're in the middle of cooking and realize that you don't have an ingredient. Now, I know that this is like a cringe, like that awkward moment when you're cooking and then you realize you forgot an ingredient. It's like, okay, whatever. But this is actually a real pet peeve for me because it can be a really challenging thing to solve. Like, for example, the other night, I decided that I was going to make like a broccoli. I make this broccoli pasta sometimes at home. It's really not anything great. Like, it's not super delicious. But basically what I do is I boil some pasta and then I steam some broccoli and then I put all of that together in one pan and then I pour some pre-made tomato sauce on it and season it a bit with some salt and some chili flakes and whatever. And then let that heat up on the stove. And then I serve that with Parmesan or nutritional yeast or whatever sort of cheesy substance I'm in the mood for. And that is a pretty good dinner. What makes it taste good is the sauce, the tomato sauce. And I just assumed that I had tomato sauce. I always have tomato sauce. Like, I cannot remember a time in my life where I've not had tomato sauce somewhere in my house. It was late in the evening. I was really exhausted and I just started boiling my pasta and started steaming my broccoli. And, well, I looked in the pantry and I looked in the fridge. No tomato sauce. No sauce at all. And I was faced with the question, what do I do now? Do I figure out a way to make a sauce with stuff that I already have in my house? What do? I don't even have, I was like, do I have butter? I don't even have butter. Like, what do I do? Do I go out and get tomato sauce from the store? Like, I have all this stuff already cooking on the stove. It's too late to pivot and do something else. I ended up just finishing my cooking and then going and running and getting some tomato sauce, whatever. Okay. But it can be a real catastrophe to start cooking and realize that you don't have an ingredient. 16, when you get food out and it needs just a little bit more salt to reach its full flavor potential, but there's no salt available. Now, for the most part, if you're eating at a nice restaurant or something like that, salt's going to be available. However, if you're eating at maybe more of a fast, casual sort of restaurant, or maybe you get some food to go, salt isn't always available. There are certain foods that like really need salt. For example, let's say something that you're eating has a hard-boiled egg on it. Like, let's say you got a salad and there's a hard-boiled egg on it. I really only like hard-boiled eggs with salt on it. So that salad, because it has a hard-boiled egg in it, might need a little bit more salt. Or let's say you get avocado toast and they didn't really salt it well enough. Avocado tastes so good with the perfect amount of salt. But before you reach that perfect amount of salt, it's flavorless and not as great. This sounds like a niche problem, but I can't tell you how many times I've gone and picked up food and maybe ate it in my car because I'm in a rush and been like, oh my God, this needs salt. And so I've started keeping salt everywhere. I carry around salt in my purse. And I'm not just talking about, this is my new thing. And everybody thinks that I'm wild for this, but it's wild how much it comes in handy. I now carry a salt grinder in my purse, probably 80% of the time. And I also always keep a salt grinder in my car because I eat a lot in the car. I eat a lot on the go. I get a lot of stuff to go. It's the same thing also with hot sauce and soy sauce when you pick up, say, sushi to go, or you order an avocado toast to go, or you order like a breakfast scramble. Those things are so good with hot sauce. So I have a bunch of mini hot sauces and a bunch of packets of soy sauce in my pantry, and I put them in my bags and I take them with me when I travel. Because when you're eating on the go, you never know when you might need these critical condiments. But I would say salt is the thing that I bring around the most. Number 17, I always have to pee at the most frustrating times, like right as I'm falling asleep and I have to get up. Like I'll pee before I lay down to go to sleep. And then right as I'm falling asleep, I'll have to pee again, almost always. Whenever I sit down to record a podcast, oops, I have to pee. When I'm having a shopping day, the second I arrive at the store that I want to shop at, oops, I have to pee. Go to a bookstore with no bathroom? Great, I have to pee. Trying on clothes at a cute store? Oops, have to pee. I always have to pee at a horrible time. Oh my God, arriving at a concert? Always have to pee. I don't know. That's just a pet peeve when I have to pee at a time that it's inefficient to pee. Number 18, when I forget about a plan that I made because I didn't put it on my calendar. This is a catastrophe because I've missed out on things that I've genuinely been really excited about because I didn't put it on my calendar. And I'm somebody who exists so rigidly to my calendar. Like if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. That's how I organize everything in my life, to a point that if something doesn't go onto my calendar, it ceases to exist for me. So I've missed out on some genuinely fun things like birthday parties, hangouts with friends, stuff like that, because I didn't put it on my calendar and I forgot. And either we didn't text to follow up, so I completely forgot, or I made other plans and then I can no longer do what I thought I was going to do. It's just a bummer. I'm also somebody who really tries to keep my word. Like if I make plans with somebody, I will do everything in my power not to cancel because I don't like being canceled on. It's sort of a pet peeve when I get canceled on. I don't mind if I get canceled on like a week before, but like getting canceled on the day of, or if somebody's like, oh yeah, I'll come to your birthday party and then doesn't show up, that kind of sucks. I've done it myself because of bad planning, but it's something that I really avoid. And so when I do it on accident, I'm really ashamed of myself because it's not a trait that I admire in others. Number 19, when I start a book or movie and I don't like it, but I have to decide whether to go on the journey or not. This is the reason why I've struggled to watch movies and read books in the past, because I hate the dilemma of starting something and not liking it and not knowing what to do next so much that I'd rather just not read at all or not watch movies at all, which sounds kind of wild. But here's the thing. If you keep watching a movie that you think is bad and it never gets better, at the end of it, you feel like you just wasted 2 hours of your life. And some would argue, yeah, but like you experienced it and like now you have a full formed opinion. Okay, sure. But I could have watched something that would actually leave me feeling good. Same thing with a book though. Like if you start a book and you're like, oh, this is really not good. But you're like, you know what? I'm going to keep pushing. You get to the end of the book and you're like, I just put so much brain power into reading this book for it to really honestly be bad. Right? And you just feel like you wasted your time when you could have been experiencing something more fulfilling in a way. But then on the other hand, sometimes things can start out slow or start out sort of unenjoyable and pick up and become great. You know, I've had that with many books and many movies where in the beginning I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And then I've sat through it and been like, hold on a minute, this is amazing. You don't know. You don't know what direction to go. And you can go online and read reviews and stuff, but like, I don't know. I don't always trust reviews. Like there are things that I really like that have bad reviews and things that I hate that have great reviews. So I don't know. I fucking hate that. It's a pet peeve. 20, keeping track of passwords. The amount of passwords that we need to remember is honestly ridiculous. There are so many passwords. There are passwords for fucking everything. And now there is technology that can help you keep track of your passwords, so you can save them and then they can automatically fill in. But there are some passwords that I don't feel comfortable having saved to my iCloud or having saved to my Google because I don't want them to get hacked. I don't want to save the password anywhere. But then if I don't save the password anywhere, how am I supposed to remember it? Every password should ideally be different. That's something that we've learned through various data breaches and stuff like that. It just feels clunky. Like managing passwords feels clunky. It's such a mess. And I have somewhat of a system that I'm not even going to share because I'm so protective of my passwords that I won't even tell like my family members how I keep track of my passwords. But it's just clunky. Like there's no way to do it that's really, really secure, but also really, really organized and also impossible to lose. And then, every once in a while you go in and you change your passwords and then you forget to update it in the place where you store your passwords. And then it's a mess and you're always resetting password. Oh, it's so annoying. I hate passwords. Just anything having to do with passwords really bothers me and is a pet peeve. Next, 21. When you take a pill and you don't drink enough water with it, and so the pill gets stuck in your throat. This is a relevant pet peeve for me because I take a lot of vitamins and pills these days. I take one very large pill twice a day for my polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, which is a hormonal thing. And then I also take B12 because I'm a vegetarian and B12 is supposed to be good for that. I also take L-theanine, which is supposed to be good for anxiety. I also take allergy medication, a supplement for my IBS that helps me go poop regularly and make my stomach hurt less. I take 3 pills for that. Oh, I also take vitamin D. I take a lot of pills, okay? And I take them twice a day. And if I don't drink enough water with my pills when I take them, they will get stuck in my throat for like the next hour. And I'm burping and I can like taste it and I'm like trying to get it all down. I hate taking a mass of pills and I hate not taking them with enough water. It's just that feeling of the pills being stuck in your throat. It's absolutely horrible. So, and certain pills have a bad flavor. Like my B12 supplement tastes really bad. So if I don't drink enough water with it, I can taste it in my mouth a little bit. Ugh, it's disgusting. Number 22, when I really want more coffee, I'm really craving a coffee, but I know that if I drink more, I will have a panic attack. So the older I get, the more anxious I get, unfortunately. That is something that I'm realizing. And I'm becoming more sensitive to stimulants. Like I used to be able to drink as much coffee as I wanted, and I used to be able to consume as much nicotine as I wanted, and it didn't matter. The older I get, the worse my anxiety gets, and the higher my sensitivity is to stimulants. So I know now that I can only really have 1 to 2 caffeinated beverages per day. Honestly, 1 is ideal. Like 1 really delicious, perfectly crafted caffeinated beverage per day is usually the best bet for me at this point in my life. After that, great. I can have decaf if I'm at home and it's available. The worst is when I want the kick of caffeine, okay? I don't want decaf. But I know that if I drink more, I will have a panic attack. It's the fucking worst. Like yesterday, I was really sort of sluggish. I was anxious yesterday, but I was also sluggish. And so I had my first coffee. And then about an hour later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make another one today. Prior to that, I've been solid on savoring 1 coffee per day. I'll make myself like a pretty big sized coffee. I make an iced drink in an insulated cup so I can enjoy it for as many hours as possible. Anyway, yesterday I was like, let me just make another coffee. I'm feeling really sluggish. And lo and behold, I drank the second coffee. I don't think I had eaten enough either. So I think I was even more susceptible to like the caffeine impacting me too much. All of that to say, I had 2 coffees and I had the worst panic attack. It was pretty bad. Well, what happened was I started to feel really dizzy and lightheaded, and I couldn't really figure out why. And whenever I have a sort of minor symptom like that, like I might just feel dizzy because I stood up too fast, or because I'm tired, or because, my sinuses, like sometimes if I have really bad allergies, like my sinuses, one sinus will fill up with fluid and then it'll make my inner ear, like it'll make me dizzy. That can make you dizzy. Or maybe I'm a little bit hungry. There's so many reasons why you can get dizzy. I got a little bit dizzy yesterday for an unknown reason. And I was already feeling kind of anxious. And then I convinced myself I was going to pass out. And then I freaked out and I was like, oh my, and I called my mom and I was like, I'm really scared. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to pass out. And I wasn't going to pass out. If I had not drank that second cup of coffee, I would have been like, oh, I'm just a little bit dizzy. Let me try to figure out what that is from. Let me blow my nose and see if it's my inner ear. Let me have a snack and see if it's my blood sugar. Like, let me figure out what the fuck is going on and solve it. But because I had 2 coffees, I just gave myself a panic attack, which then made me more dizzy. Anyway, it's a pet peeve of mine when I want more coffee, but I know that if I drink more, I will have a panic attack. 23. When I'm in the shower and I realize that I've run out of shampoo, I've run out of conditioner, face wash, toothpaste, because I brush my teeth in the shower, I've run out of something and I'm already in there. And then I have to do that little fucking wet walk of shame to my little cabinet that has my backstock of stuff. And then it's really bad when I'm fully out. Like, oh shit, I ran out of body wash and I don't even have any left. Now what? Then, wet and soaked, I have to go look in my travel bag to see if I have a backup in there. And on the worst of days, I don't even have a backup in there. It's the fucking worst. 24. Trying to get a bath to the perfect temperature. I don't take a lot of baths. I think for this reason. The challenge of getting the bath water to the perfect temperature is so frustrating to me that I just don't even take baths. You don't want it too hot. You don't want it too cold. Usually it's better to just make it too hot and then wait for it to cool down and get in it. But then also the bath rarely stays the right temperature for very long. So then you end up cold and then you have to drain it a little bit and add some more hot water. This is the reason why I don't like taking baths. I would say taking baths in general is a pet peeve of mine. I wish I could enjoy a bath with a little glass of wine, but it's just not realistic for me most of the time. Number 25, putting on sunscreen. I know sunscreen is important for numerous reasons, especially for me, because skin cancer does run in my family. So out of anyone I know, I should be the best at reapplying sunscreen and being really vigilant about it. But there's nothing I like about sunscreen. I've tried lotion sunscreens. I've tried spray sunscreens. I've tried oil sunscreens. I hate sunscreen. The only sunscreen that doesn't really bother me to apply is like face sunscreen, because I have a really good face sunscreen that is comfortable and it works as a moisturizer. It's really not an inconvenience, but body sunscreen, oh my God, I hate it. I hate applying it. I hate reapplying it. I hate when it gets on my clothes. The only redeeming quality is that I like the smell of sunscreen, but everything else about it is horrible, especially when you're at the beach and maybe you just got in the ocean for a little bit and you got out and you're like, shit, I should probably reapply because I bet a lot of my sunscreen came off in the water. And then, you're trying to get sunscreen back on and rub it in, but then you have sand everywhere. So you're like rubbing sand in it. Oh my God. I fucking hate sunscreen. A few weekends ago, I went to the beach and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get a good tan today. I'm not going to wear any sunscreen. Why? I got so fucking sunburnt. I literally could not sleep that night because I was so sunburned. I could barely move. I do that like once a year. And then I learned my lesson for the year. But I hate sunscreen. I hate that we need it. But we do. And it's good. So wear sunscreen and don't get a sunburn like me. 26, cleaning my makeup brushes. I have a lazy method of temporarily sort of cleaning my makeup brushes. I have this spray that you can just spray onto your brushes and then, wipe them off on a tissue or something. But the spray, it doesn't really work. Like it works okay for powder products like eyeshadow brushes and stuff. It's great for that. It's not great for a foundation brush or a concealer brush or a makeup sponge. It's horrible for that. To clean those brushes, what's best is to fully wash them in the sink with brush cleaner. And I know that, but I literally do it once a year. And I hate cleaning my makeup brushes. And I know it's giving me acne. I know it's giving me clogged pores. You know what? Maybe I'll do it today. Maybe I'll wash my makeup brushes today, but it's a pet peeve to clean them. I fucking hate cleaning them. 27, removing waterproof mascara. Listen, I love waterproof mascara because I love being able to sort of rub my eye a little bit and not have mascara be everywhere. I like my makeup not getting destroyed if I sneeze or my eyes water from allergies and it doesn't make my mascara go everywhere. I appreciate waterproof mascara, but I literally refuse to wear it now because removing it is so challenging that I just don't even want to wear it anymore. I also hate removing black eyeliner. Like when I do like a really intense eyeliner look and there's a bunch of eyeliner in my waterline, I hate removing that. It's so hard to remove. I feel like I'm just ripping out all of my eyelashes and damaging the delicate skin on my eyes when I'm removing waterproof mascara or like thick eyeliner. And the thing is, when it comes to wearing, waterproof stuff is better, right? It doesn't smudge. It is better. So it's a bummer. 28, when something needs to constantly be charged to work, like a speaker or wireless headphones, etc., anything that needs to be constantly charged to work, there are certain things that need to be charged every once in a while to work. Like I have some portable chargers that need to be charged maybe once every 2 weeks, or like a little portable lamp that only has to be charged like once every 6 months. But there's certain things that are just badly designed, like the battery inside is just horrible and it needs to be charged all the time. Like if every time I want to use my portable speaker, I turn it on and it's like low battery, that is annoying to me. And that is a pet peeve. 29, messy cords. Like behind my desk, I just have so many messy cords and there's no really good way to organize them. Like maybe there is, but if you organize your cords really well, then you can't change them out whenever you need to. And sometimes, I need to unplug things or move things around. So I'm always faced with messy cords and also cords that are not the correct length. Like I feel like cords are either way too long or way too short and there's no in between. And that really bothers me. So that's another pet peeve. 30, when my cats try to sit on my hands or computer or notebook or book or whatever I'm looking at or working on. When I'm recording a podcast, my cats love to walk in front of my computer, walk on my keyboard, step on my recording equipment, etc. When I'm reading a book, my cats love to sit on my lap where my hands are. I don't know how they know, but it seems like they always know how to get in the way. Listen, I love cats and I think cats are great pets, but my God, is it so annoying sometimes. And last but not least, red receipts. I've told a story before about how I accidentally had my red receipts on for a few months and I was accidentally leaving people on red for hours on end, not knowing that they knew that I had read the message. Red receipts are so stressful for me for many reasons. That was when I discovered that I hated red receipts, was when for multiple months in my teenage years, I had red receipts on and I found out later after a mortifying discovery. One of my friends told me, and then I realized that I had been texting my crush for weeks with my red receipts on, and I would read their text and then not respond for like 2 hours and then respond later trying to play hard to get. Meanwhile, they saw that I read it. Oh my God, that was really embarrassing. But then since then, I've grown a stronger and stronger hatred for red receipts just in general. I don't like when people have their red receipts on because there's something about it that like feels aggressive. Like I don't want to know when they've read it. I like when it just says delivered. There's just something about it that's unsettling to me. But there are certain chatting platforms like Instagram DM, for example, where I feel like you can't turn red receipts off. I might be wrong about that. They might have updated it since, but for a long time, you couldn't turn red receipts off. So you couldn't read a message without somebody knowing that you'd read it. And that really bothers me because sometimes I want to read something and then decide later after I've read it if I want to respond. And I don't want the person to know if I've seen it or not. 31 pet peeves. That is a lot. Let me know your pet peeves. Send them through to me on Instagram at Anything Goes. Follow Anything Goes on social media at Anything Goes. If you enjoyed this episode, tune in for the next one. New episodes on Thursdays and Sundays. You can stream anywhere you get podcasts, although video episodes are exclusively on Spotify. You can check me out on social media at Emma Chamberlain, and you can check out my coffee company. Go to chamberlaincoffee.com, see if we're in a store near you using the store locator, or just order online. And check Chamberlain Coffee out on social media at Chamberlain Coffee. Yeah, okay. That's all for today. Thank you all for letting me rant. Thank you for hanging out. I love and appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you in a few days. Okay, love you. Talk to you later, and bye.